That is one good cup of coffee. And since it's worth $104.68, it should be. You might be surprised to hear that anyone would pay $104.68 for a cup of coffee. And first, because if you know me, you know I hate coffee. And second, because $104.68 is an absolutely absurd amount to pay for a cup of coffee. But what if I told you a $5 cup of coffee is actually costing you $104.68? We'll explain how in today's video as we unpack the value of each and every dollar you save. Now, we recently posted a video about compounding interest. If you haven't seen it, I recommend that you go back. We'll put a link in the description below. There's also a written form of it on our website. We'd invite you to check that out. In that post and video, we ran through a lot of scenarios that kind of illustrate the importance of compounding interest and how powerful it is. And it got us thinking, what if we knew the value of each and every dollar we spend 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years from now? Maybe if we knew how much that dollar was worth down the road, it would change the way we make decisions today, or at the very least make us more disciplined or reflective in how we spend our money. And the concept we're talking about is opportunity cost. And formally defined, opportunity cost is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. Put simply in layman's terms, opportunity cost is what we miss out on when we choose one option over another. Let's look at a simple example. All right, imagine a guy named Mocha Mike. And Mocha Mike, true to his name, loves a piping hot mocha, and he buys one every day at the shop down the street on his way to work. Mike is doing well in his career, and a $5 cup of coffee is not going to endanger his progress toward financial independence. But for our own edification, let's look at what would happen if Mike invested that $5 for 30 years instead of buying a cup of coffee. And generally when we run some long-term forecasts and projections on how a portfolio will perform, we like to use 10.67% as a rate of return. That is the average return of the S&P 500 since its inception almost 70 years ago. Now in Mike's case, you probably already guessed it, that $5 would be worth $104.68 in 30 years. If you want to calculate this yourself, you can use a future value formula. We've got it on the screen. In this case, FV represents future value, PV represents present value, R equals your rate of return, and N equals the number of periods that you're going to accumulate interest. Now, for the sake of simplicity in this video, every period will equal 1 year. Now, we're not trying to shame Mike for buying a cup of coffee. In fact, $5 really is kind of small thinking. In all likelihood, it's going to make a lot more sense to pursue larger ticket items in your spending. They're going to help benefit your investing and saving over time a lot more. Our goal instead is really just to challenge your thinking. If a $5 cup of coffee is worth $104.68 in 30 years, well, what would a $20 meal or a $50 meal or a $100 outfit, or all of a sudden you start to think about the level of impact all of your purchases make. So let's walk through some more examples and see how much each dollar you have is worth. Hey, I hope you're really enjoying this video. If you are, if I could ask a huge favor and get you to click the like and subscribe buttons below, it is a really, really big help to our channel. It helps us get the word out about what we're doing and teach people about personal finance. First off, we wanted to show you the value of a single dollar over a given period of time. So we've got a table on the screen now. As you can see, in just 10 years, a dollar's worth $2.76, almost 3 times what it was at the beginning. In 20 years, it's worth $7.60. In 30 years, it's worth nearly $21. In 40 years, $57.70. And in 50 years, it's almost $160, coming in at $159.04. So in this example, let's assume you're 25 years old and you're going to retire at 55. Every dollar you spend today will be worth $20.94 in 30 years. At 75, it would be worth $159.04. Now, to help you visualize this even more clearly, we built a graph, and you can kind of see the way it sort of moves slowly uphill, and then toward the end of the period or end of the timeline, the graph really kind of takes off almost exponentially. In fact, half of the value comes in the last 7 years of the investment. That's 50% of the value in only 14% of the time. And it's important to see this because it helps us understand the importance of patience in investing. Yes, those last 7 years will be exciting, but you've got to go through 43 before you get to them. It takes a lot of patience. And we also kind of wanted to do this in reverse. So let's say you have a retirement age in mind, and in the case of this table, we use the age 61 and work back from there. And basically this shows you at every age, approaching age 61, how much a dollar is worth at that time. So for example, in this person's case, when they're 25, a dollar's worth $42.57. Now ultimately you don't have to use the ages that are listed in the left column on the table. you can substitute them for just a number of years. So 61 minus 31 would be 30 years. That means 30 years before you withdraw that dollar from the account, it'll be worth $23.17. Again, hopefully this just helps you make well-informed decisions about how you spend each and every dollar. Okay, we squeezed a dollar to death in this post, but odds are you're going to want to save and invest more than just a dollar at a time. So for example, what if you fully funded an IRA each and every year? How much would that be worth down the road? Well, let's see. Now in this table, we assume you put $6,500 into an IRA each and every year for 50 years. In case you're wondering, $6,500 is the maximum contribution limit that anyone under 50 years old can make in 2023. And again, we use the rate of return of 10.67% to reflect the S&P 500's average over its lifespan. And you can see after 50 years, the account balance is over $10 million. And the best part is, it never assumes that you put in any more than $6,500 a year. The truth is, contribution limits in IRA accounts increase with inflation. So, for example, I think just a couple of years ago, the max was $6,000. Before that, it was $5,500 and $5,000 and $4,500 and $4,000. Initially, I believe IRA accounts only allowed you to contribute about $2,000. So that contribution allowance will increase over time, allowing you to contribute and maybe grow the account even larger. Now, in all likelihood, you're not going to contribute to an IRA for 50 years. That would be a very long time. You have to have earned income to contribute to an IRA. Most people don't have a 50-year working career where they have income coming in that entire time. Even if they did, not many people would be contributing to retirement that entire time. But even if you only did it for 40 years, you'd have $3.8 million. It's not bad. Now, milestone 5 of our Next Dollar Roadmap, we recommend contributing 15 to 25% of your annual income to retirement each and every year. Now, $6,500 happens to be 15% of a $43,333 annual income. This is actually lower than the individual median income in the United States for 2023, which is $44,225. In other words, most of us should be able to make this happen. And even if you can't contribute $6,500 to a Roth IRA or traditional IRA this year, keep plugging away until you maximize the amount you can give. I mean, after all, just look at the example we gave. Clearly, it doesn't take that much money if you have a lot of time. Hopefully you found that interesting and fun. We have an abundance of information like this on our website at martinmoney.com. We also have some posts and videos that we'll link in the description below. You can also find us on the social media channels on your screen. I want to say again how grateful we are for your interest in our videos. We are so thankful that you watch them and really appreciate your time. God bless and take care.